Okay. So the practice that we're going to do today is something to move stress hormones through the body. And I wanted to share it because on Friday, I didn't tell you this, you haven't heard this story yet. On Friday, we had a medical emergency with our cat Bill, and he came through the window at 7 in the morning, foaming at the mouth, obviously intoxicated, panting, eyes bugging out of his head, like really bad intoxication. I don't know what it was from. He'd been in the second story. He jumped down from the second story window to come through the window and find me. Um, Jonathan had just left to go start doing Uber. And so I scooped him up. I put him in the second bedroom bathroom and like rinsed his mouth, closed him in there, went to find my phone. I called Jonathan. I messaged Estefania, the vet, but she was in San Jose. I messaged the vet number for emergency, and between those two points of contact, they started calling the other vets, the Kens, and it took an hour for them to get to the clinic. So from 7 until 8, we were basically doing triage in the bathroom, cleaning out his mouth, kind of trying to keep him alive, essentially. He's doing okay. He ended up at the vet. Good morning, Patty. Um, he ended up at the vet on an IV in an oxygen box to get oxygen, activated charcoal to flush his system. And it was really stressful. So, Patty, I'm just sharing the story of what happened on Friday. Our cat got poisoned somehow, intoxicated, and it was a bit of a life or death situation. He is recovering. He's been locked in our bedroom since Friday afternoon, which he's really not happy about because he's an outdoor cat. But the vets recommended keeping him in there. He's on 15 days of a liver medication to make sure that he doesn't have damage to his liver. Apparently, cats have very sensitive livers. I did not know that. So it was a really, really stressful morning. The hour from finding him sick at 7 a.m. to meeting up at the clinic with the vets at 8. And then by 8:45, we'd left him there. We were home. And then there was like the aftermath, right? Like the bathroom was a mess from being in there and treating him, and just that sort of like vacuum that comes after a really stressful situation. And so I wanted to share, excuse me, the actual practice that I did, because I got home and I felt myself still like flooded, right? Like stress hormones, they're there for a reason. And they're very beneficial, right? Your body floods with adrenaline, with cortisol, with these different stress hormones to get you through traumas, especially traumas like in the moment. Then there's also, prolonged stress, where your body is just constantly making these hormones. And afterwards, if you don't do something to sort of flush the hormones out, this is where people get stuck in stress responses. And, you know, hopefully your body eventually does process the chemicals that it released for the stress, right? All those endorphins that like make it so you're super strong and you're able to get through. But what happens if we don't is that we can have anger issues, right? We can have prolonged agitation. We can snap at other people throughout the day because we're still essentially flooded with these things that are helping us survive or helping us help our loved ones survive. So, and one of the best things that you can actually do is cry, right? Our tears are a way to remove the stress hormones. Cortisol, particularly, exits through your tears, which is why sometimes we cry when we're like, I don't even know why I'm crying. It's because your body is trying to flush. But a lot of us don't, we have resistance to crying. There's a lot of social stigmas around it, a lot of shame that can go with crying. Crying is an excellent way to flush the system. Obviously, drinking a lot of water so that we urinate and we flush the system that way. Eating, if we have a well-tuned system, eating can help those reactions turn off, right? Because we have fight or flight response, which is activation. We have fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. And that's when we're in a stress response. And then the opposite is rest and digest. So we cannot digest food unless we are in a resting state, a parasympathetic state. So for some people, eating can force us into parasympathetic, but that's only if you already have a well-tuned system. Otherwise, you're going to try to eat and you're not going to digest the food and you're probably going to throw up. If you've ever thrown up from stress, it's because your body does not send the signals to digest if it's still in a stress response. So I want to share what I did on Friday because I got home and I realized I couldn't turn it off. There was no mental capability to go, okay, I now everything is going to be fine, right? And I didn't know if it was going to be fine. It was, you know, pretty much everybody said he was going to die. I thought he was going to die. All of the vets, the vet tech, everybody said from that level of intoxication, that cat would be dead. And so we didn't know until about 3 o'clock that he was doing better and we could go get him. Um, so I found myself like wanting to clean up the bathroom, trying to sit and focus, but I couldn't, right? I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't do anything because I was in this fight or flight mode still. So this is what I did, and I want to share this because there's the difference between practice, like when we sit down together on a Sunday and we're calm and we're really regulated already and we do something versus in the moment, right? And we're practicing these techniques often enough so that when we're in the moment and the moment is stressful and the moment is hard and the moment is chaotic, that we can remember the techniques. So there's that like click over moment where you actually use the tools in the time that you need them versus just, oh, I know how to meditate, I know how to breathe, but then forgetting that you have that skill set when the thing is actually happening, right? When shit hits the fan, can you use the tools? Okay. So I was quite proud of myself because I did use the tools and it helped me shake it out of my system. And so I want to share that with you. So I'm going to come to standing. I'm going to record this standing. We are recording. So I want this to be shown from a standing position. If you need to be seated for this, you can do it seated. And I will give modifications of what you can do seated. So if you cannot come to standing now or ever, that's not a problem. Circumstantially as well, you might have to be seated at times when you're stressed. So that's also a reality. So all right, I'm going to get this set up here. Okay, and I'm going to talk as loudly as I can. My neighbors are doing some construction, so hopefully the sound records okay. So the first thing that is really, you can do this in any order. I'm going to show you 3 things that I did to move some of these hormones through my body, right? To process some of the stress. And the first one is just shake it. So you can start just with the hands. And if you are standing, the feet can be a little bit wider than your hips. So you have a really nice base. If you're seated, then you're just shaking the hands. If you're standing, after we shake the hands for a little while here, you can start to sway back and forth, just keeping the feet both grounded, nice and even. And the shaking, right now, I'm not stressed. So the shaking is the level that it is. When you're really stressed, the shaking might be way more intense, right? To get it out. And you can keep the shaking here with the arms down by the side. You could also shake up and overhead, right? Like you can kind of get really loose with it. So you just shake it to try to get the muscles to process those stress hormones, okay? If you're standing, you can start to bend in the knees a bit. And you can start to bend the knees and kind of bounce up and down. If you're seated, just keep doing the arms, maybe start to wiggle the shoulders, maybe shake the head. So we're just shaking, 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 almost to the point of tiring ourselves out. Because if we are really stressed, the adrenaline that's pumping through us is keeping us alert. So we want to get tired, basically. All right. So you can keep shaking here. You can keep shaking as long as you like. And then when you're ready, if you're standing, you can try to balance and shake one leg at a time. But that's maybe balancing isn't what you're going to want to do in a really stressful situation. So once you feel like you are getting a little bit of muscle fatigue, then you can start to slow it down. Okay. And maybe the hands are still going to shake out a bit, right? And you probably felt that too. So you can start to slow it down, standing, seated, and then you can come into some stillness. Stillness is really hard when we're in a stress response. So if you want to keep swaying or rocking gently, you can. But just feel the effects on your body right now, just how that, poof, it just kind of takes it out of you, right? And maybe there's something this morning that already has you stressed out. Maybe there's something going on in your life. You could be processing some stress right now as we do this. Hopefully it's not like a shock trauma that happened, but anything that's been weighing on you, that's a way to get it out. And you know, you've been in situations as well, maybe a car accident or something where you are shaking afterwards. And it is the body, it's wanting to do that, right? You see it in dogs, you see it in animals a lot. They'll have a tense moment, nose to nose with someone, and then they shake, right? They shake. That's what that is. It's shaking it out. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is tapping. So you can start with the left arm out and just start tapping the right hand over the heart area and then eventually down the arm. So if you're seated, we're just doing the arm is out, we're tapping. If you're standing, you can be swaying. You can sway if you're seated as well. So down the inside of the arm and then flip the arm, go around the back side. So get on the front line, get on the back line. Couple times. And then bring the right hand over the chest, left hand as well. So now we're just tapping on the chest, both hands. You can alternate tap. You can tap at the same time. And we'll switch to the other arm. So right arm out, left hand. Tapping down the inside line 2 times. Down the outer line. And then back to both hands on the chest. With both on the chest, we're gonna cross it. So we're gonna come into this called butterfly tapping, bilateral tapping. So left hand is on the right side of the body, right hand is on the left side of the body. You can go down the arms a little bit if that's available to you. And then switch your arms. Switch which one is on top. And just tap down. You can come and tap the face a little bit. I wouldn't go too hard here, but if you want to tap the face, the forehead, the crown of the head, the back of the head, maybe the base of the skull, maybe the back of the neck, but we're not tapping hard here, but just tapping, tapping, tapping. And then coming back to the front, we're going to tap down the body. So if you're seated, you can still do this, tapping on the belly first. If you're standing and you have the mobility to forward fold, just bend the knees nice and deep, tap down the front of the legs. If you're seated, just tap down the leg. and then coming back up. So it's not like a yogic forward fold. We're not trying to stretch the hamstrings. We're just getting the legs. And then get to your hips. If you're seated, again, you can get the hips. If you're standing, do a good focus on the front of the hips where the thighs and the hips join together at the hip flexor there. Get the back. So come to the back, the low back. If you're standing, get the glutes and the outer edge of the hips. If you're seated, just focus on the low back. And then back to the belly, back up to the chest, and then slow it down. And then you can come into some stillness. If you feel like you need to shake the hands out a little bit after that, shake the hands out. Maybe take a couple clearing breaths. So breathe in through the nose. And then out the mouth, exhale. Okay. Then we're going to do one more breathing technique that's still to flush the body. And then we'll sit back down, those of us who are standing, and we'll do some calming breath. Okay. But you'll notice, like, if you're stressed, if you're activated, you're not going to be able to just do some calming breaths because you're going to be in activation. You need to do activating practices to move it, right? If someone is stressed out and you tell them to just calm down, it's the worst thing you can tell someone who's stressed out. They can't just calm down, right? It's a biological function. So this one, I'm going to show you two options, right? So if you're standing, we're going to go like this. We're going to breathe. Both seated or standing is going to be 3 inhales, 1 exhale. So 3 inhales, 1 exhale. Okay. But different things with the arms. So if we're standing, our first inhale is arms up to mid-level. Second is arms out. And then arms up. And then exhale. Okay. You can either bend and forward fold a little bit and really throw the exhale, or you can just do arms. So again, it looks like this. If you're seated, you're going to go like this. Because you're going to have your arms are here. You're just going to come up. If you don't have the mobility to do shoulders all the way up, you can just stay here. Okay, so we're just going to do a couple rounds of that, whatever way it looks in your body. Thinking about on the exhale, just throwing it all out. Right? So that's we're purging, we're using the lungs to detoxify those stress hormones. Okay. So however you are for this one, if you're seated, if you're standing, shoulder mobility, we're just doing 3 inhales with some range of motion up with the arms and 1 exhale out. Okay. So it looks like this. Let's do one more. You can go ahead and let that go. Take a moment. Check in with yourself. If you're standing, we're going to come to seated. So transition slowly. Make sure you're careful with how you move from standing down to seated. If you're seated, just stay where you are. Okay. So take a minute here, just If you'd like to close the eyes, you can close the eyes. If you're not ready to close the eyes after all of that movement, the eyes can stay open. Just start to focus at one place in front of you. So maybe you're just looking at the ground. Maybe there's like a notch on the wood that you focus on. There could be a piece of lint stuck to something. Just pick one thing, focus on it, or the eyes can close and just start to check in with the physical body. So I hope that you were not arriving in a state of extreme stress, but if you were, you'll likely feel a little different now. And again, this is something to practice when you are regulated so that when you are in that dysregulation, you remember that you have these skills. So just take a moment here, just check in with the physical body. Just notice how those 3 practices landed for you. Any sensations in the physical body? Take a moment and check in with the emotional body. Seeing what is present for you today, right now, this stage in life. And we'll take a moment here. We will work with Brahmari breath, honeybee breath. Before we come into that, using that as a purifying, calming, vibrational breath to soothe the system. Before we come into Brahmari breath, just having an honest conversation with yourself about how you manage your stress levels. No shame here, just an honest conversation at this stage in life, at this point in life. How are you managing your stress these days? We go through different seasons of life and we have different things that come up, things that happen to us, that happen to our loved ones, things that are out of our control, situations that change the trajectory of what we thought life was going to look like. And there are seasons that are much more challenging than others. It's like rafting down the river. Sometimes you're in the rapids, sometimes it's calm waters. So just taking note. Are you in the rapids lately or are you in calm waters? And we will work with Brahmari breath, honeybee breath. So for those who aren't familiar, it's an inhale through the nose, and then we exhale through the nose as we hum in our throat. So it sounds like this. Mm. So I want to give you some options here. If you're very familiar with Brahmari breath and you'd like to take this even a step deeper in terms of the vibration, so you're welcome to practice with the hands just resting in the lap. I invite you to keep the jaw soft, so the teeth not clenching or touching, and the tip of the tongue can rest on the roof of the mouth just behind the teeth. If you'd like to incorporate, there is a mudra that goes with Brahmari breath that I don't often offer. You're going to take your hands like this. It's a bit of an awkward positioning, but we cover the eyes very gently with the pointer and middle finger. And then we very gently keep the lips closed, right? Pinky finger on the bottom of the lips, ring finger on the top. And watch me first before you go, because then you won't be able to hear me. And then with the thumbs, we plug our ears. Okay. So when we do that and then we work with Brahmari breath, it's more sensory deprivation and the internal hum is going to be quite louder. So you have the option to work with that. If that's too intense to go that deep inside, then just leave the hands where they are. If you'd like to explore that, we're going to do 3 rounds. We'll just do 3 rounds as long as we can make them. So inhaling through the nose, Brahmari breath on the exhale for 3 rounds, seeing how long you can make the exhale. So if you'd like to take this mudra, go ahead and get set up. Then you're not going to be able to hear me. So we'll just go on our own count here. Let's start with an exhale. Inhale to fill up. Mm. 3 rounds, as long as you can make them. Mm. When you finish your 3rd round, come into subtle breath. If you had your hands in the mudra, you can place them on your legs, palms facing up or palms facing down. Taking a few final moments here, staying soft in the body. Anchoring the mind and the awareness to the breath. Watch your inhales and watch your exhales. You can place your hands in prayer, joining the palms to touch and the thumbs resting against the heart space, or you can place left hand over heart, right hand over left, your choice. Let's just take one final moment here, slightly bowing the chin towards the chest. Let's send a little bit of love to our bodies. We have these amazing bodies that function in such a way to keep us safe throughout our lives, to help us survive, to help us get through. And they take a lot of damage over the years. Just taking some moment to send some love to your body, whatever condition it's in, however used, however worn, whatever has happened to it. Sending extra love to those places. Compassion to ourselves for all of the dents and the bumps and the bruises and the scrapes that we've earned along the way. And for all of the scars that are inside that others might not see. Sending extra love there. Let's take one final breath together. So one cleansing and clearing breath. Start with an exhale. Empty the lungs. Empty, 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 empty. Inhale through the nose. Fill up all the way. Open the mouth. Exhale, sigh it out. Gently flutter the eyes open. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have a stress-free day. But if you do have stress, try one of those 3 practices that we did and see if it helps. Have a wonderful Sunday. Sending you all love. See you soon.